The story that exploded across media this week did not come from a tabloid leak or an anonymous source, but directly from Megyn Kelly herself, as the veteran broadcaster finally went on the record to explain how Meghan Markle allegedly tried to erase her from her own show. What began as a quiet behind-the-scenes tension has now become a full-scale media controversy, raising questions about power, influence, and who really controls the narrative when Hollywood, politics, and celebrity culture collide. If you found this report insightful, take a moment to reflect on how celebrity culture shapes health trends and why responsible conversation matters. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more in-depth coverage that goes beyond the headlines and keeps you informed as these stories continue to unfold. Share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments section. According to Megyn Kelly, the situation traces back to the period when Meghan Markle's media presence was expanding rapidly and her public image was being tightly managed. Kelly says she became aware of unusual pressure surrounding segments of her show that mentioned or discussed Megyn. At first, the requests appeared routine, framed as concerns about tone, balance, or accuracy. But Kelly now claims those requests escalated into something far more aggressive, crossing a line that she says she had never experienced before in her career. Kelly explained that she was informed, through intermediaries connected to Megyn's media and public relations circle, that certain episodes should be altered or removed entirely. The alleged goal, according to Kelly, was not simply to dispute facts or request clarification, but to reduce her presence in discussions involving Megyn, effectively minimizing Kelly's role and voice on her own program. Kelly described this as an attempt to quietly rewrite the narrative without direct confrontation, relying instead on influence and pressure applied behind closed doors. What makes this revelation especially striking is Kelly's insistence that the requests did not come as open dialogue. She claims there was no invitation to debate points, no formal rebuttal, and no transparent process. Instead, Kelly says the approach felt designed to intimidate, using reputational leverage and industry connections to suggest consequences if cooperation was not forthcoming. While Kelly did not accuse Megyn directly of making personal calls, she emphasized that the messaging consistently traced back to Megyn's camp. In her account, Kelly said the situation reached a turning point when she was told that keeping certain episodes available could harm future access, interviews, and partnerships. For a media figure who built her career on asking hard questions, Kelly said the implication was clear: stay quiet or risk professional isolation. She described this as a test of whether independent journalism could still survive in an era dominated by celebrity branding and carefully curated public images. Kelly stressed that she initially chose silence, not out of agreement, but out of a desire to avoid turning a behind-the-scenes dispute into a public spectacle. However, as similar stories began surfacing from other media figures, Kelly said she felt compelled to speak out. She framed her decision as a defense of journalistic independence rather than a personal feud, saying the issue was bigger than any single personality. From Meghan Markle's perspective, supporters argue that any effort to correct or challenge media portrayals is reasonable, especially given years of intense scrutiny and criticism. They point out that public figures have the right to push back against coverage they believe is unfair or misleading. Kelly acknowledged this point, stating that requests for corrections or responses are a normal part of media operations. Her concern, she said, lies in the alleged attempt to remove her voice altogether rather than engage with it. Media analysts watching the situation note that this case highlights a growing tension in modern journalism. As celebrities build powerful personal brands with global reach, the balance of power between interviewer and subject has shifted. Kelly's claims suggest that access and influence are increasingly used as leverage, creating an environment where critical voices may feel pressure to soften or silence their coverage. The controversy also reignites broader debates about Meghan Markle's relationship with the media. For years, Megyn has spoken openly about feeling misrepresented and mistreated by press outlets, particularly during her time within the royal family. Her defenders argue that assertive media management is a form of self-protection. Critics counter that attempts to suppress discussion undermine transparency and free expression. Kelly's account adds a new layer to this ongoing debate, positioning it not as a clash between tabloids and celebrities, but between two powerful media figures. Kelly was careful to emphasize that her account reflects her experience and perspective, acknowledging that Megyn and her representatives may see events differently. She said she would welcome a public response or clarification, noting that open dialogue is preferable to what she described as quiet pressure. At the time of her comments, no detailed response addressing Kelly's specific claims had been issued, leaving the public to piece together the story from available statements and past patterns. Industry insiders say the impact of Kelly's revelation could extend beyond this single dispute. If her claims resonate with other journalists, it could encourage more media figures to speak openly about similar experiences. That, in turn, could shift how celebrity teams approach coverage, knowing that behind-the-scenes tactics may eventually come to light. For viewers and audiences, the story raises important questions about trust. When watching interviews or consuming commentary, how much of what is presented is shaped by unseen negotiations? Kelly's decision to speak publicly suggests a desire to pull back the curtain and remind audiences that media content does not exist in a vacuum. As the discussion continues, the situation remains fluid. Meghan Markle's public image, Megyn Kelly's credibility, and the broader media landscape are all part of the conversation now unfolding. Whether this moment leads to meaningful change or fades into the constant churn of celebrity news remains to be seen. What is clear is that this story has struck a nerve, not because of personal drama, but because it touches on fundamental issues of voice, power, and accountability in modern media. As viewers, listeners, and readers, the responsibility ultimately lies with the audience to question, to listen critically, and to decide which voices they trust. If you want to stay informed as this story develops and hear deeper analysis on the forces shaping today's media narratives, make sure to subscribe, share this report, and join the conversation. Your engagement keeps these discussions alive and ensures that important stories don't disappear quietly behind the scenes. If you found this report insightful, take a moment to reflect on how celebrity culture shapes health trends and why responsible conversation matters. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more in-depth coverage that goes beyond the headlines and keeps you informed as these stories continue to unfold. Share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments section.